Greetings everyone, this is Rob Sanders from Simplilearn. Happy New Year, and today we're going to talk about digital marketing skills. So digital marketing allows business owners, regardless of the business, nonprofit, for-profit, large or small, national, local, international, to really expand their business. It allows them to personalize their content, they could save money, and most importantly, they can measure the results. And so that's what we're going to focus on today when we talk about digital marketing skills, focusing on measuring those results. Okay, let's switch over to a traditional marketing channel, email marketing. You know, one of my favorites. You know, listen, we're all bombarded with emails, and you know what? It becomes cumbersome at times. I mean, it's easy to just disregard an email. And so to me, the key here, if you're going to do email marketing, you need to have a certain set of skill sets. And so what that skill set is really understanding your audience. Because if you send an email to a certain set of recipients, you need to hope that that email is relevant to that audience. Okay, so you need to be able to really identify who it is we're sending this email to. And a recent study done by Statista stated that 49% of consumers really like to receive promotional emails from their favorite brands. So if you have a very strong brand, then email marketing is probably a good channel for you. If you don't have a strong brand, or nobody really knows about your brand or your product or your business, then email marketing could be a little bit of a steeper hill to climb, if you will. But really, email marketing it involves emails that promote the brand's products and services. And if you could target the right audience, or making sure you have the right audience, then you got a good chance of having successful email marketing campaigns. But when it comes to emails, you know, it's like having a blank canvas. You can be as creative as you want as long as you're talking to the audience. So the big skill set here, again, is copywriting and having some, you know, creativity involved with that copywriting. Saying the right things, but not saying too much. At the same time, making the email aesthetically pleasing as possible, so that when somebody does open the email, they're going to be able to react to it. So, you know, writing copy with strong call to action, or really relevant copy that really talks to the audience. I mean, those are all keys for email marketing, in my opinion. Also, one thing we didn't bring up in search engine marketing, but it certainly holds true with search engine marketing as well as email marketing, and that's A/B testing. And so A/B testing is simply taking an original and creating a variant and testing the two to see which one performs. Well, you could certainly do A/B testing with email marketing. That means taking a subject line that has traditionally worked for you or is relevant for that audience, and then creating a variant or different subject line. So if I'm going to send an email to 100 people, I'm going to send 50 people one subject line, and then the other 50 is going to get my variant subject line. And why is this important? Because I want to be able to see what people to react to. Okay, so if I see the open rates higher for the variant versus the traditional or the original subject line, then I know that this subject line works. And therefore, I'm going to apply this subject line moving forward. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to take it and test it against another variant. So you should always do A/B testing on subject lines. So the concept of A/B testing should not be lost on any digital marketer. Okay, whether that be SEO, search engine marketing, or email marketing. Okay, so you should have an understanding of A/B testing. And of course, going back to measuring results, with email, you have a different set of metrics. We already mentioned open rates. So if you send out 100 emails, how many people open the email? Okay, you want that open rate to be as high as possible. And then when they open the email, did people click on that CTA or any of those links in the email? Okay, so you want a high click-through rate. And then more importantly, when they click on a link in the email, they're going to go to a landing page. You want that person to engage with that landing page. So what's the engagement rate of the landing page from the email? Okay, so it's really important that you have an understanding of all the different metrics involved with email marketing, and again, how to react to that data. So if you're getting a low open rate, could it be the subject line isn't that good? Possibly. That's why you have to do testing. If you're getting a low click-through rate on the emails, that could be because the copy may not be that great, or the design, or the call to action, or it's not compelling enough for the recipient of the email. And then again, the engagement rate on the landing page. If you have a low engagement rate, a low conversion rate, you got to look at that and figure out how to improve that. Okay, so you can apply A/B testing on the landing page. So there are always ways to react to the data regardless of what campaign or regardless of what digital marketing channel you're working in. Okay, so that's the commonality here. One point on email marketing is if you're going to measure the results of the campaign, whether you're using, vertical response or MailChimp or, some other email marketing platform, you want to make sure you have what we call UTM tracking. And if you're using Google Analytics, having UTM tracking or understanding what UTM tracking is allows you to measure the results of that email marketing campaign in Google Analytics. So that's another skill set you should have, being able to apply tracking to your digital marketing campaigns, including email. Okay, because if you don't, it's going to be hard to measure the results in Google Analytics.
Hey everyone, this is Manish from Simplilearn and welcome to this video on email marketing full course. In this full course, we will learn all about one of the most trendy technologies today, that is email marketing. We'll begin this full course video with what email marketing is and how to set up email marketing, the benefits of it, and A/B testing. After this, we'll look into the different types of email campaigns and how to engage new users with your emails, along with a hands-on demo using the MailChimp tool. We will then conclude this video by discussing the essential interview questions and answers to help every individual crack an interview. By the end of this video, I can assure you that all your email marketing career-related queries would have been answered. For this training, with me, I have our experienced email marketing specialist, Rob and Rahul. Together, we will take you through the various topics of email marketing. So let's start with an exciting video on email marketing. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to never miss an update from Simplilearn.
Welcome everyone. This is Rob Sanders with Simplilearn, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about email marketing tutorial. So buckle up and let's get started with email marketing tutorial. And so let's start out asking the question, why email marketing? So Linda is the owner of an e-commerce company, and basically she isn't able to take her leads, the leads she's collecting per day, per month, and convert them into customers. Okay, so customers sign up, but they don't buy her product. So she's left scratching her head wondering what to do. So how's she going to solve the problem of converting the leads she gets into paying customers? Well, look no further than email marketing. So you can boost your sales funnel with the help of email marketing. So email marketing leads to email campaigns that lead to website visits that can lead to product purchasing. Email marketing's also it's a very good way to generate a high return on investment. So Linda thinks this is too good to be true. You're telling me it's a very efficient way to generate a return on my investment? How expensive is email marketing? Well, email marketing is neither expensive or time consuming. That's the beauty of email marketing. And so Linda is now very interested. We've piqued her interest. She wants us to explain email marketing to her in detail. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Buckle up and let's get started and talk about what is email marketing. So As I mentioned to Linda, it's an efficient way to convert leads into sales. Why? Because we can send personalized emails to a specific audience, a targeted audience. If somebody's interested in our product, we can reach out to them via email. It can also be used to remarket pre-qualified leads. So anybody who's pre-qualified, we can go ahead and communicate with them as well. So email marketing is very effective at different stages in the funnel. Okay, so when I say funnel, customer life cycle. So we have awareness, consideration, purchase, retention, and advocacy. Okay, so let's talk about each one of these parts of the funnel or customer life cycle, if you will. So let's start with awareness at the very top. So email marketing allows customers to recognize their problems, after which you can educate them on how your brand can solve them. Okay, just like any other marketing channel, somebody's looking for something, a need of something, we can come to the rescue. In this case, we're going to come to the rescue with email, and we can go ahead and educate them on what their need is and how we can collaborate with them, help them, educate them, solve their problems with our product. Okay, so that's what email is going to do. We're going to communicate with them via email, and we're going to bring awareness to the problem by solving the problem. That's what email is good for. Okay, good for generating awareness for our brand. For example, we can share a newsletter with our customers. So if we're running a cosmetics company, we can basically educate them on the 5 important skincare products that everyone should have. Okay, so we can get them to click on the call to action to learn more. So if somebody's having some skincare issues or not sure what products to buy, an email can cover that. Okay, the next step in the customer life cycle is consideration. So customers focused on searching for relevant products and compares the products with similar ones. Okay, so they're definitely looking, they're a little further in the process, they're educated, they know what they're looking for, so we can really hit them with the right email. We can send a relevant email to promote our product. Okay, discover that perfect moisturizer for your skin, that perfect skin moisturizer. Smooths, hydrates, and contains SPF 20. So we got the perfect product for that person who's further along the funnel and really is ready to purchase that product. So we can hit that person up with the perfect messaging. Let's talk about purchase, the next step in the life cycle. With purchase, we can send an email that encourages that customer to purchase our product by offering them something. Okay, by giving an offer. For example, we can give a discount. Discounts always tend to work. So that moisturizer that particular customer was considering buying, well, they can move from consideration to purchasing because we're going to offer them a discount they can't refuse. Okay, so it could be for a specific date. Okay, it could be something that's going to get them excited to buy the product. 20% off a moisturizer is pretty good deal, and especially if that percentage off is better than the other products they were considering buying. So getting somebody that extra incentive to purchase the product goes a long way via email. Okay, we want to take that next step in the life cycle and nurture our relationship with customers to ensure they're loyal. Okay, if they've already purchased, how do we get them to purchase again? That's retention. We want to retain our customers. We want to get them back to buy the same product or similar products or completely different products in our inventory. So what do? We're going to send an email. We're going to send an email to active customers. Okay, we're going to give them an offer just for them, exclusively just for them. In this example, we're going to give them a combo pack, a facial kit at just $39 and get a sunscreen worth $10 for free. Okay, so you can come up with all sorts of different combinations on offers. The key is the offer is exclusively just for those who you want to target and retain as customers. Because if you just get somebody to purchase once, it's not going to work. Those people have already taken that step in the relationship where they trust your product, they purchase your product. Now you want to go ahead and treat that customer special by giving them an exclusive offer. And then what we want to do is advocacy. Last step in that customer lifestyle. We want to convert that active customer into brand advocates. Okay, we want that customer to talk about our brand for us. We want them to promote it and talk about it with their friends. So for example, we want to send an email to those customers to promote our products. Okay, so for example, we could say, hey, the sales of our products for this particular day or for this month is going to go to our favorite nonprofit. Could be educating poor children or cleaning up plastic in the ocean or saving animals. We want to be able to get them to speak on our behalf and say, look, guys, this is a really good company. You know, they're offering me products exclusively. They've offered me discounts in the past. They have good products. They have a lot of different products. And on top of all that, they help. They help the environment. They help the needy. Okay, they care. And so we can go ahead and provide a call to action for these customers that are loyal to our brand and have them share the email with their friends to spread the word on, you know, what we're trying to accomplish for our nonprofit, or if anything, just get them to promote it. Maybe give them a discount for every friend that they get to buy our product. Okay, it doesn't have to necessarily be, you know, just sharing with friends. It can be that extra incentive of giving them a discount if they do share with friends and their friends buy. Okay, so this is the customer life cycle and examples of different emails that you can use at every step along the way in the life cycle. So let's talk about email marketing setup. So email marketing setup, we have a series of steps that we need to go through in order to get our email set up to go ahead and send out to our target audience. And that first step is we want to identify that target audience and create segments. So if you've taken some of my and listened to some of my webinars in the past about Google Analytics, about Google Ads, we talk about segmenting. So it's about targeting a specific audience. That's what segmenting is, taking a piece of the whole. So we don't want to email all users on our list, all customers. Maybe we want to target a specific segment. Okay, so we want to be able to identify that segment. Who is that segment? Is it somebody who, or is it a group of people, or, you know, a partial list of our customers who purchase a specific product? I would say so, versus say our entire list of customers, because our entire list of customers can purchase a number of different products. And so by targeting a specific segment of our audience or our customer base, we can hone in on the message. So if they all have something in common, like they all bought that moisturizer, then we can go ahead and be specific with our messaging. Then we want to create campaigns and set an appropriate call to action. Okay, so what is it that we want to say to these people, this segment of users? Then once you create that campaign and set up the messaging and call to action, we want to test the email before we actually click send. This is a very important step. Test that email before we send. And then when we send the campaigns immediately, or we can schedule a time. So my advice here is always schedule a time. You want to be able to figure out the best time to send that email. And then once the email is sent, whenever that is, you want to be able to analyze performance. And there are some key metrics that you want to hone in on when we talk about email marketing. And some of those are open rates, click-through rates, okay, response rate. Okay, so we want to be able to hone in on certain key metrics when it comes to emails. So here's what we need to do: create our list, add contacts to our list, create our campaign. Okay, we want to select the list, choose a format, modify the template, and then send the email campaign. So these are some basic checklists that you want to do. So let me give you an example and go to MailChimp. So if I'm in MailChimp, basically I'm going to create a campaign. Okay, so it's an email that I'm going to work with, and you can see with MailChimp I have some examples here: regular, automated, plain text, or A/B test. I want to do a regular email. Hey, I'm just going to call it test, and I'm going to click begin. Okay, so we want to add our recipients. Who are we going to add? So we're going to choose our audience. Okay, so we're just going to choose a sample test for now. Okay, we can personalize the to field if we want. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to call people by their first name, their last name, their first and last name, or we can customize it. Just go with first name to keep it a little bit personal. Okay. Then we have the subject line here. So it's all about messaging, right? So whoever we're targeting, we want to be able to add a message. So we're just going to say, and subject line is very key here. So you want to have a subject line that's really going to resonate with your audience. So whoever that segment audience is, we want to make sure that the subject line is going to resonate with them so that they can open up that email. Okay, so we'll just say, having a good day. We can make it better. Just as an example, something that's going to be attention grabbing, if you will. Okay? You can always tweak the subject line. In fact, my advice is always do A/B testing on the subject line, so you can do 2 different subject lines with one email to figure out which one has better open rates. And then with MailChimp, we can go ahead and design the content of our email. So we're going to click Design Email. Okay, we can select a template. We have some saved templates already, okay? Or we can go with a theme. So MailChimp has a lot of good offers. Now there's a lot of different email platforms out there. I particularly like MailChimp because of this very feature. They have a lot of good themes here, a lot of different layouts that you can use. Okay, so we're going to showcase that product. Okay, and that's the template we're going to use here. So here we go. We're going to showcase our product. We're going to add that photo of our product here. And we're going to go ahead and put some nice messaging in here with some nice call to action. We can put our logo up here for branding. Again, we can edit the content here. So based on that segmented list, in this example, for Linda's company, maybe she wants to target those folks who bought her moisturizer before, her face moisturizer, and she wants to retarget them. She wants to go ahead and say, hey, you guys have bought my product before, check out this new face moisturizer that we have to offer. So whatever the case is, you want to be able to plan that out ahead of time. You want to be able to plan out who your audience is, you want to plan out your messaging, and you want to go ahead and set up the messaging based on that audience. So once you have the messaging in place, voila, you're more or less ready to go. Okay, so once you get the content all set up, you can schedule that campaign, okay, and you can also add a social post to your campaign. So we can share that information on social. So email integrates nicely with social media. So again, that's pretty much what you need to do here. You need to really think about who it is you want to target. Choose those recipients. Okay, customize it, make it personal, create a good subject line. In fact, create 2 subject lines, and then align that content with that audience. Okay, that's really the checklist here. So again, we look at this checklist, creating our list. Who do we want to send the email to? So we added our contacts to the list, we set up the campaign, we selected the list, we chose the format, we modified it with a good subject line, with some good messaging, and then we're going to schedule that email campaign. So that's the checklist to go off of. Okay, so remember, identify target audience and create segments, and then you create that campaign. And in our case, we did set an appropriate call to action. Get shopping, basically. We want people to shop our new moisturizer. Key thing here is before we send it out, we want to test that email. Once everything looks good, we're going to, I would advise schedule it, but you can always send the email when you're ready. I would schedule it at the appropriate time and day. Okay, so in this case, you don't want to send an email out on a Friday afternoon, okay, when people are getting ready for the weekend. You certainly don't want to send an email out over the weekend because you're not going to have many people look and open it. And you probably don't want to send the email out on a Monday morning when most people are getting into the office from a long weekend and catching up on emails. So from my experience, Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on your time zone, I would always say, late morning, early afternoon tends to be a good time, but that's why we have performance. That's why we can analyze performance. We want to be able to see what the open rates are and the click-through rates are so that we can make adjustments for future emails. So let's talk about some of those metrics. So when you do send that email, we're going to look at that open rate. And so open rate is the percentage of the total number of recipients who open an email. So, okay, so if we basically, send it to X amount of people, minus those emails that have bounced. So let's just say, we sent it to 102 people. Okay, for simplicity's sake, 2 of those emails bounced. Okay, so that means that we've had 100 net 100 emails that received the email. And let's just say 75 opened the email. Okay, we wrote such a good subject line that they opened it. Okay, that's 75%. That's a 75% open rate. And that's how you measure open rate. Click-through rate. Okay, so if they open it, we hope that they click on something. And so for all of those emails that were delivered, okay, in this case 100, how many actually did click on our call to action? So let's just say 75 opened it out of the 100, that's a 75% open rate, but of the 100 that actually were delivered, let's just say we had 25 that actually clicked on the call to action. And so that's 25%. Okay, and so you want to be able to measure not only who opens it, but who clicks on the call to action. So that's click-through rate for email marketing. And then response rate. So it's the percentage of the total recipients who clicked on a link of your email campaign and actually completed the action. So in our example, we're trying to get people to click on the shopping call to action and get them to purchase. So we sent 100 emails, and of the 25 who actually clicked, we had 10 who actually took action and purchased. So 10 divided by 100 is 10%. So you have open rate, click-through rate, and response rate. Those are some key metrics for email marketing. Okay, the first step is you got to get people to open it. That's where the subject line is so important. Click-through rate, that's where the messaging and call to action is so important. We want to get people to click on that call to action. And then the response rate, we want them to buy. So those are 3 key metrics related to email marketing. So let's take a look at an example. If we go back to our email marketing platform, MailChimp in this example, we're going to take a look at some reports. So most email marketing platforms have reporting functionality built in. And so in this case, what we want to do is we want to be able to take a look at the open rate, click-through rates of the emails that have been sent out previously. So here we could see our April email, coupon versus tools promo. Okay, so we've had basically, opens and clicks. So 14% open rate, 1.4% click-through rate. Okay. So the March email that went out did a little bit better, 19% open, 2.5% on the click-through rate. So here we could see how many people actually were sent, how many opened it, and how many clicked. So this is MailChimp, makes it very easy for us to measure open and click rates. And then we can measure by revenue as well based on the campaign. So that's measuring the response rate. So it's all built in. So most email marketing platforms have open rate and click rate already built into the functionality, so you can measure those 2 metrics against any email. So let's talk about the benefits of email marketing. So what are some of the benefits? Well, we've already mentioned to Linda that it's cost effective. It's time saving, real-time marketing, less intrusive, builds credibility, increases visibility and brand awareness, and it's an easy way to track ROI. These are all the benefits for email marketing, and we're going to go talk about some of these now. So basically, when we talk about cost effective, some email marketing platforms charge based on the number of users who you send the email to. Time saving, well, you saw how quick it took me to set up that email campaign. The key is figuring out who you want to send it to. When we talk about real-time marketing, we're sending this email out basically in real time, trying to meet our customers' needs at the right time. It's less intrusive because we can customize the emails. Okay, we can, as you saw, I can put first name in there to make it more personal. So when something's more personal, it's less intrusive, especially if it's a segment that already knows your brand. Okay, builds credibility. Hey, we gain credibility when we offer exclusive offers to repeat customers, or, try and build advocacy by working with nonprofits. Okay, it increases visibility and brand awareness. Why? Because, we could send our email out to a large group of people, and that's a good way to generate brand awareness. And as you saw, we can easily measure, not only open rates, click rates, but ROI. So how many people from that email went on and purchased? So we can measure that. It's very easy to measure email. So let's move into A/B testing. So A/B testing is key to email marketing. So in email marketing, gaining high open rates and click-through rates will result in more website visitors and sales. Okay. In theory, that's what's supposed to happen. We get more opens, we get more people to click. We get more people to click, we're going to get more people to purchase. Okay. But it's not as easy as it sounds. So how do we make that possible? Well, we're going to do that via A/B testing. I've already mentioned it when I set up my example campaign in MailChimp. I stressed that we need to have 2 subject lines go out per email. Okay. So before I stress that again, let me just reiterate what A/B testing is. And A/B testing is a method to analyze which of the 2 email campaign strategies is most effective in terms of high open rates and click rates. Okay. So in this case, in A/B testing, you can send out 2 emails. You can send out 2 subject lines. You can send out 2 call to actions. You're just really what you're doing is you're testing one against the other. That's what A/B testing is. And so in my example, I talked about that subject line. So for better results, A/B testing can be done with the subject line. It can also be done with the email content. So the subject line impacts the open rate. Okay, so I wrote a subject line. I don't even know how that subject line is going to perform. But if I write a second subject line, then I'll be able to basically give myself a better chance of getting a better open rate because I'm offering up 2 different subject lines. Likewise for email content. So the subject line and email content are the most important elements. So we want to be able to test them. If they're interesting, intriguing, attention grabbing, then it's gonna, in the case of subject lines, result in open rates. If the content itself is interesting, engaging, a good offer, good call to action, then the click rates are going to be increased. So we want to be able to serve up variations for our audience. So we want to consider an example of an A/B test where Linda has set up 2 variations of the email campaign as an example. So she's going to send 2 different subject lines to test which one generates more open rates, because that's what subject line A/B testing is going to do. One of them is going to have a higher open rate. Okay? So in our example here, Linda sends version A of the email to 50% of the recipients with the subject line, 3 important strategies to increase your open rate. Well, version B, which is sent to the other 50%, has the subject line, 3 important strategies to increase your open rate. So the only difference here is 3 and 3, the number 3 spelled out. Well, because she sent out 2 different subject lines, she's going to now be able to measure the success of that A/B test. Okay. And it just so happens version A has a higher open rate. Numbers always tend to work in subject lines, by the way. So Linda sends version A of the email to 50% of the recipients. Okay, $80 today, but $90 tomorrow. And version B to the remaining 50%. $80 today, $90 tomorrow. And the only really succinct difference here is using the word but versus a comma. And she sent that email out, and that email went out, and the data is coming in, and she's going to measure the success of that A/B test. Well, version B has the higher open rate. You know, we want to be short, succinct, and stay away from those conjugations like but. Okay? It tends to have a negative connotation. So the shorter, more direct email or subject line, $80 today, $90 tomorrow, not so passive, more direct, and that tend to have the higher open rate. So you always want to test those subject lines to generate high open rates. Another example here. Version A again gets 50% with the subject line, uh-oh, your prescription is expiring. Version B, your prescription is expiring. You folks listening to this webinar right now, wonder which one you think will perform. Go ahead and put your comments right below this video. I'm curious what version of the subject line you would open. So let's go ahead and measure the success of the A/B test. Okay, so she sent the email out, 2 different subject lines. 50% got one subject line, the other 50% got the other subject line. And it just so happens version A. Uh-oh, your prescription is expiring. There's a little bit of a, personalization to that. For me, your prescription is expiring seems to be a little bit more, commandish. Hey, your prescription's expiring, so we expect you to purchase. Where you add the little uh-oh in front, it's like, hey, I think your prescription's expiring. Maybe you should think about renewing it, okay? I think that's how that's interpreted. At least that's how I interpret it. So I would probably go ahead and click on that email with that subject line. So you could see subtle differences in the subject lines make a big difference in open rates. So in order to keep improving those open rates, you need to continue, and not continue, you should always do subject line testing. Always, because one subject line is always going to have a better open rate than the other. So always do A/B testing when it comes to subject lines and email content for that matter. Okay. So we're always going to do continuous A/B testing. So with continuous A/B testing, we can test various elements of the email campaign. So you can always test the sender's name, the subject line, the copy, the call to action, the design, the imagery. There's a lot of different elements you can test with emails. For example, sender's name. Okay, so you want to personalize it as much as you can. Okay, you don't want to do a no reply. You want it to come from a human being. In this case, Sam. Okay, at least that's what I think. Let's see what the test states. No surprise, version A has the higher open rate. If you customize these things and personalize them, then it goes a long way. Sending an email from a no reply is not a good best practice. Let's talk about the subject line again. So we got webinar, increase your email open rates. Webinar, increase your email open rates. So the webinar is dynamic on version A. Okay, so we're sending that out. And because it's dynamic, that's going to, beat out the static. Webinar, increase your email open rates. A lot more elements we can test here. So for example, the email copy. So learn some easy ways to increase your email open rates. Join us on May 10th, 2019, 7 p.m. for an interactive discussion with our experts. Well, version B is more personalized. It's the same message, but we're actually addressing someone specific, in this case, Rachel. So we can measure the success of the A/B test, but it's no surprise that anything that's customized, that comes from somebody, a name, with a dynamic email subject line is going to perform better. It's going to increase open rates and it's going to increase click rates. So we can also test that call to action. The difference here is coloring. Save my seat yellow versus save my seat blue. Again, go ahead and play along here. If you're watching this, go ahead and add a comment and just see if you're right. Do you think it's blue or you think it's yellow on the call to action? Color does go a long way in email marketing. So let's measure the success of this A/B test, and it just so happens yellow is going to perform better. Why does yellow perform better than blue? Well, it's more positive. Plus it kind of resonates a little bit stronger and easier. Okay, it stands out a little bit better. It's not as pastel-y and dull as this shade of blue we're using. So you can see here, we're testing every bit of the elements of the email. Anything from the from, to the subject line, to the message, to the call to action. And so at the end of the day, you want to be able to send out the best email that's going to give you the best results. So we're going to send that out, the entirety of the email, and we could see version A looks a lot better. And why does version A look a lot better in this example? Because look at the font size is a little bit bigger. Version B, font size smaller, harder to read. That's another thing you can test. Larger fonts tend to do a little bit better. Now you don't want to go overboard and have them, 48 points or 50 points or plus. 14 versus 12 goes a long way. We can continue testing. We can test imagery. You can see here we have a hand aligned with the call to action. They just look different. That's all. Version A has one type of hand. Version B has the other type of hand aligned with the call to action. Let's go ahead and send out that test and see what works. Well, version B works. Why? The hand stands out a little bit more clear. It doesn't blend in with the call to action. So you can see we're testing different elements here, and we're always improving and adding to what's working. So we started out with a no reply versus somebody's name. then we move to a subject line, then we move to personalization, then we move to call to action, then we move to an increased font, meaning the design, and then we're adding imagery. So we're constantly improving the email with each test. Eventually you're going to get to a point where the email is going to be good, and you're going to just continue to test different options on it to continue to increase open rates, click rates, and response rates. Final output looks like this. Again, that personalized email response from Sam versus no reply. We got a nice dynamic subject line. We got a personalized email to Rachel with larger font. Okay, we got a nice call to action that stands out with a nice image to accompany that. So we've tested all these different elements. This is the best combination based on everything we tested. So when we get that email to go, this is what it's going to look like in the future. But guess what? We're not going to stop testing. So we can continue to test those subject lines, continue to test the messaging, continue to test the email design, continue to test different call to actions, continue to test different images. You're never going to stop testing with email marketing. Okay, so let's switch over to how to optimize the subject line. Subject line is such a key component to email marketing. So as we showed you in the last segment, we tested a subject line and we used a number. The number 3 versus 3 spelled out. Just so happens that numbers tend to do a little bit better. They're shorter, easier to read, and they resonate better. So include a number in your subject line. You can include an emoji in your subject line. Emails come a long way. Emojis aren't just social media based. You can use emojis in subject lines. I'd highly recommend it. I just sent out an email last month with a subject line about, spring showers bring May flowers. And guess what emoji I had in that subject line? A flower. Okay, may sound cheesy, but it goes a long way. So according to Experian, subject lines with emojis can increase open rates by 45%. People resonate with emojis, especially if they're positive emojis. Okay, so we want to personalize those subject lines for better open rate. Okay, when I say personalize, don't be so stale. Remember that subject line we tested, uh-oh? Just putting uh-oh in there made it sound like we actually cared. It was a little bit personal. It wasn't so personal, we weren't addressing a specific person, but one little word goes a long way in a subject line. Because when people get emails and they read emails, and a lot of people are inundated with emails, the subject line is what they're reading first. And just by personalizing it, adding a number, adding an emoji, and just making it positive and easier to read, they're likely to open that email. So personalized email messages can improve click-through rate and open rates as well. So you want to personalize your email as much as you can. Whether that be from the from field to putting that person's name in the salutation. So personalized subject lines have been found to increase open rates by up to 50%. So don't come across as spammy, come across as you know who your audience is and you're talking to them. And then you will want to prefer title case subject lines. So title case subject lines. For example, when I say title case, Game of Thrones is my favorite show. Every initial letter in that title is capitalized. Okay, you can go with the sentence case. Game of Thrones is my favorite show. It doesn't stand out as much. Of course, if you go with lowercase, it definitely doesn't stand out. It looks illiterate, and somebody's probably not going to open it. So you always go with that title case. Every initial letter gets capitalized. So how to optimize that subject line? Well, watch the length of your subject line. You want to be conscious of character counts. So 17 to 24 characters. You want to keep it short, succinct, and to the point, but personalized with an emoji, with initial caps on each word to make it stand out. But you have to do that within 17 and 24 characters. So according to Campaign Monitor, the ideal length of a subject line is up to 24 characters, and they're more likely to boost those email rates. Okay, so keep it short, but make it impactful, make it personalized like I mentioned before. If you get too long, then it may get cut off and it may not have the same impact as something shorter. So that's why we always recommend keeping it up to about 24 characters. Okay, if you go over by a couple characters, not the end of the world. but try and stay within that range. Develop a sense of urgency. Okay, so when we say sense of urgency, we mean sense of urgency, meaning if that coupon's going to expire, you want to let people know it's going to expire that day or the next day or within a few days. Okay, so you can use things like hurry up or limited offer or limited stock or offer expires on. Okay, so add a bit of sense of urgency. I mean, the sky's not falling here, but if that coupon's expiring at the end of the week, you probably want to mention something to the effect of, hey, offer's expiring, or hurry up. So let's talk about optimizing your email content. So we focused a lot on subject lines. Let's talk about the email content itself. So some ways to optimize email content are, we want to send the content that is relevant to customer expectations. So content needs to match that expectation. We want to use bullet points to make the content readable. We want to follow logical structure. We want to use compelling imagery, and prefer design emails with responsive designs. And what we mean by responsive design is, hey, most people are going to be checking that email on their mobile phone. Okay, so make sure when you design the email, it's also going to be good, not just on desktop, but on tablet and mobile as well. And then, of course, this goes without saying, but avoid grammatical mistakes. Go ahead and spell check it. And that's why we put an emphasis on testing your email before you actually send it. And when you actually send an email, test email, don't send it to yourself. Send it to colleagues, send it to another group, a fresh set of eyes that is going to be able to pick out that misspelled word that you overlooked. So I can't stress the sending of the test email, because it's going to be able to, in a way, ensure that you're doing everything on this list. In addition to grammatical mistakes, the person who's receiving your test email, your colleague at work, may be looking at that email on their mobile phone. And if it doesn't look good to them, they're going to let you know. Some other ways to optimize email content: personalization. So we did that on the A/B testing. You always want to personalize it. Question is, hey, do I use first name? Do I use first and last name? Well, guess what? You can test that, but you want to personalize it. Okay, you want to choose the right fonts and colors for your email. So when we were going through some examples on testing, I always tend to go a little bit larger on the font, but you could play around with it. I don't think you should probably use white lettering on a black background. That just is not very good or best practice, but go ahead and try it if you want. Okay, you can always play around and test these, but you want to choose something that's really going to resonate with the recipient of the email. Okay, you want to build a rapport with customers by sharing insights they value. For example, the beginning of this webinar, we talked about advocacy. We talked about, sharing with them some of the nonprofits that we work with as a company. Okay, if we have a cosmetics company and we have different products like moisturizers and facial creams, we may want to state that, hey, we don't use any animals in the testing of these products. We're pro-animal. We're not going to use animals in the testing of our products. And that probably resonates with a lot of your customers. So you want to go ahead and build a rapport with those customers by sharing those insights. Okay? And use recipient names. And you always want to personalize it. And then add a clear call to action at the end. You always want to have that call to action, regardless of what the email is. Hey, it could be just a simple read more, or hey, donate. It doesn't have to always be so hardcore in terms of, hey, purchase our product. That could be a turnoff, especially if you're sending emails out once a week to your customer base. If you're constantly hammering them with buy now, buy now, buy now, they're going to get turned off. So you want to mix up the call to actions. And that goes back to the very first step. And what kind of email are you going to send out and who are you going to send it to? So you have to align those two. If it's somebody who doesn't even know who your brand is, you're not going to put a call to action of buy now. You're probably going to say, hey, check us out. We have some cool stuff for you. Okay, let's talk about automating emails. Email automation. So triggered emails are sent to customers based on an event, date, or user behavior. Okay, so when we say an event, it could be a special occasion like Mother's Day. Okay, it could be a date like a birthday or anniversary or a specific day of the week. Can also be based on user behavior. A good example of user behavior are those who abandon the cart. You can trigger an email. In fact, MailChimp has remarketing functionality. So with MailChimp, hey, if somebody abandons our cart, we can have an email triggered, and we could send an email, a nice email that says, hey, we noticed you didn't finish purchasing our product. And I'm not sure what happened, but hey, here's another 10% off. Or you can always just make product recommendations as well. But you want to react to user behavior and use emails to your advantage for that. So you want to be cognizant of different occasions. You want to be cognizant of special events, holidays, etc., and user behavior. So these types of emails can be automated because you know when they might happen or that they are probably going to happen. So autoresponder emails are sent at frequent intervals based on the behavior of subscribers. So for example, if somebody purchases something, then you're going to get an email that probably says, hey, thank you for your purchase. Another email that says, hey, your product's on its way. And then another email that says, hey, your package or product has been delivered. So that's an example of an automated email that goes out. If somebody purchases your product, you probably want to thank them for that. And then you probably want to let them know that, hey, it's on its way. Here, you could track it. And then again, you want to confirm that it's been delivered, but thank them again. So that's an example of an automated email that goes out. Okay, let's talk about types of email campaigns. So we have different types of email campaigns. And the first is a newsletter. So with email newsletters, subscribers are connected and informed about product updates. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a product they buy. It could be a product they subscribe to, like software. Okay, you always want to be able to send out that newsletter to let them know what's going on with your product. Are there upcoming product updates ahead? Is there one that just happened? Is there a webinar that discusses the new product update? So that's what the newsletter is going to do, inform the end user about the update. So how to optimize. Okay, so you stack your email content, create a compelling header, share different variety of useful content like videos, articles, etc. with those recipients, and then follow a consistent schedule. So that's how you handle a newsletter. You should always create a compelling header, but if you're going to send out a newsletter, make sure you support it with some good information, like a video that they can go watch, or an article that will follow up on what you put in the email, or promoting that webinar that's going to talk about that product update. Okay, so example here is a newsletter that gets sent out, and here you can see it talks about business process. It's got some nice imagery in there. Okay, call to action. It's got a little bit of everything in this email template. Okay, and that's when we talk about stack your email content, that's what you talk about stacking. You can see at the top, it's got work with the industry best. Subscribe now. Okay, they validate that with 25 years of top-notch service. Then they talk about hiring the best talent. Then you got the next bit of content below that. So that's stacked email content. Okay, that's going to be supported by a compelling header. And then they're going to share a variety of different content in there. Like there could be clicks in there to videos and articles. Moving on from newsletters to promotional emails. So we want to be able to drive revenue by sending special offers through promotional email. Okay, so how do we optimize a promotional email? Well, we want to personalize the campaign. Okay, promotional, we want to definitely personalize it. Include time-sensitive offers. We want to get people to react. Okay, so that means, adding a sense of urgency in the title and the subject line. Okay, you can send offer emails on holidays. If it's Mother's Day, hey, send it a couple days before or even send it on. If it's personalized, then you can say, hey, so-and-so, we know you're a mother. Here, take 20% off. I mean, that kind of personalized email with an offer goes a long way. Here, an example from Tom's. Limited time, extra 20% off all styles. They include the code in there. Okay. Again, you can see the sensitivity and the sense of urgency with the limited time. Another email campaign type, and personally one of my favorites, is abandoned cart. So abandoned cart emails. I like working with abandoned cart emails because, we want people to purchase. And as much as you try on your email marketing campaign to drive traffic to the website, and as hard as the website works to get people to convert through the shopping cart, it's never going to be 100%. And so abandoned cart emails give us that extra incentive to get that person back to the shopping cart to purchase. Okay, so these emails are shared with customers who have added product to their cart but didn't finish through the checkout process. In other words, they didn't purchase the product. So it's an effective way of sales recovery. It gives us another opportunity to reach out to that person who just is almost there but not quite ready to finish the purchase. So what are we going to do? We're going to send out an email for those that abandon their cart. And we're going to use a simple abandoned cart email template. Okay, you want to be simple here. You don't want to get complicated. We're trying to make this easy for them to finish purchasing the product. So we want to definitely personalize it. Okay, we want to send a series of email reminders. Okay, in your email reminder, add a product image. So as customized as it can be, it could be even the product image of what they've abandoned, and that's the best practice. So if it's that facial moisturizer that Linda's trying to promote and she can't quite get enough people to finish purchasing the product, they're abandoning the cart, well, she can certainly send out the abandoned cart email. Okay, so for example, you want to personalize it. Hey, you forgot to complete your order. You left something in your cart. Can we help? Email 2. Hi there, so-and-so. Items in your shopping cart are selling out quickly. It's a gentle reminder. Okay, so come across a little bit different here. Okay, email 3. Hey, so-and-so, 20% off on your cart, valid until so-and-so. Offer on your favorite product. So the first email that went out in the series of emails, it's, hey, you forgot something. Hey, is there anything we can do to help you complete the product purchase? Email 2 is just that gentle reminder. Hey, we're selling out quickly. You might want to purchase that product. And email 3 is to really help them along by saying, hey, here's 20% off, valid until so-and-so. So just a small series of emails that go out, try and get somebody back into the shopping cart. Okay, let's talk about re-engagement campaign. So in a re-engagement campaign, it's a series of emails sent to inactive email subscribers. So what it does is it boosts engagement and helps to maintain a high inbox placement ratio. Inbox placement ratio. So we want to be able to make sure that we're getting people back on our subscriber list. So how are we going to optimize for something like this? These are difficult type of email campaigns. We're trying to re-engage with people who are inactive. So we want gamification to re-engage subscribers, or we want to prefer subject lines like, hey, we've been missing you, or did we do something wrong? Okay, we can run a poll or competition to re-engage with our subscribers. So for example, hey, we'd hate to miss your birthday. Go ahead and update your account. This is a Starbucks email. So we'd hate to miss your birthday. So it's that, message of missing you. You can always soften or sweeten the deal with an offer as well. So that brings us to how to engage with new subscribers. So we just talked about re-engaging with inactive. We want to talk about engaging with new subscribers. So how to engage with new subscribers? Well, thank your subscribers for joining. Okay, create clear and compelling subject lines. That is a must regardless of what type of email you send out. You always want to send out that compelling subject line. Okay, notice the good examples within 17 to 24 characters. Know the ideal time to message. Okay, again, sending it out on the weekend's not going to work. Okay, sending it out during the weekday, in the morning, mid-morning, sometimes in the afternoon works. It really depends on who your audience is. But weekends probably aren't going to work. Okay, avoid the no reply sender name. Again, personalize it. You're either Sam or Rob or so-and-so, Sally. Let them know that the email's coming from a real person. Okay, because if it doesn't come from a real person, most people aren't going to respond. Okay, we want to let our subscribers know the privacy policy. So we want to let them know that we abide by a privacy policy. Okay, that's, getting, straight with people who are new. They don't know your brand. They don't know your privacy policy. They don't want to get spammed, in other words. So putting that out there makes you more transparent and trustworthy. Okay, and again, personalization, always personalize. If it's new, if it's inactive, repeat customers, loyal customers, lifetime customers, you should always personalize. and you should always be courteous and always thank them. And then prefer attractive email designs. Okay, work with something that's going to be eye-catchy. And then most important is include an unsubscribe link. I can't tell you how annoying it is to get an email and not have the unsubscribe link there. That makes me want to unsubscribe. Even if it was a good email, I still look for that because maybe they're a good company, but they're spamming me. They're sending me too many emails. So maybe I want to unsubscribe or change my subscription. So you always want to include that unsubscribe link. In fact, in the United States, it's actually law. So there is regulation about that, around that. So you need to include an unsubscribe link. It's just common courtesy, if anything. So it bodes well. Okay, of course you don't want people to unsubscribe, but you don't want them to get annoyed either. Okay, let's talk about email marketing tools. So we talked about MailChimp. So there are plenty of email marketing platforms out there. I use MailChimp. I've used a few in the past, like Marketo. I've used Zoho, Vertical Response. So there are a lot of different tools out there. Here, some of them, again, MailChimp, Marketo. Marketo is a marketing automation tool or system, and Marketo is good for sending those automated emails. HubSpot, ConvertKit, Sendinblue, Aweber. I mean, these are just some of the many that are out there. Okay, so let's show a demo again of an email marketing campaign. So let's show an example of a newsletter that one of my clients had sent out. And so this is Paul Ekman Group. Paul Ekman, Dr. Ekman inspired the TV show Lie to Me. So well known in the industry of micro-expressions. He's the aforementioned expert in micro-expressions. And he sends out email marketing campaigns. And he sends out a monthly newsletter. So this is a newsletter that was sent out in November 2018. And if we look at it, you can see here, okay, it's stacked content, nice imagery, okay, respectful disagreements, how to deal with disagreements this holiday season. So really relevant, personalized, and timely because it was set in November during the holiday season. So got some nice imagery there. Okay, we got content in here. And then right below that on the stacked content, what do we have? Final hour, 24 hours, 25% off. So that sense of urgency built into the email. Then here you go. You have some other content in there based on the face of contempt. Okay, just an example of a micro expression. And then right below that, what do we see? We see a call to action. Learn how to use micro expressions to your advantage. So call to action here. Then we have some more information here with the learn more. So a newsletter that went out, basically a blog post built into the email with some nice content, reminding folks, hey, they have 24 hours, got some other useful information in the email. So this email went out, very timely, 98,000, okay. See subject line here, controversy, respectful disagreements, and Thanksgiving, okay. Could the subject line be a little bit shorter? Yes, possibly, but if we look at the open rate, 15%, 16% open rate, okay. Industry average in education and training is 18%, okay. So they're close to the industry average. On the click rate, 1.6% on the click rate, industry average 2.1. So we can see what the top links were clicked. Okay, so they have a lot of links, and MailChimp will help you measure what links were clicked the most. Who subscribed, what subscriber with the most opens. We can see opens by country. But that's an example of a newsletter for this particular company. Okay, stacked content, okay, sense of urgency, okay, you can see the subject line, timely newsletter. So this is I think a good example of an email for the time of year. Okay, so let's go over the checklist again for email marketing. So good reminders on the checklist. This is a checklist. You want to make sure all boxes are checked. You want to create interesting subject lines as they boost your open rates. Direct correlation with open rates is subject line. Okay, you want to keep your content relevant and consistent with your brand. You want to check the sender name. Okay, so you want to make sure not only is it personalized, but the name aligns with the email address. Okay, you should always personalize. Always personalize the subject line and the email copy text. Meaning, don't just say hello to Sally, Pete, Rob, Michael, etc. Always include an unsubscribe link in emails. Okay, give people the option to unsubscribe. Okay, you can always re-engage them another way or later on, but you don't want to irk any one of your potential customers. Use A/B testing. We talked about A/B testing in the webinar. There's lots of different elements we can test, from subject line to content to font to call to action to imagery to subject line, etc. There's no shortage of elements in an email you can test. You want to use welcome emails to build good customer relationships. So when somebody signs up for a newsletter, send out a welcome email to them. Hey, welcome. Thank you for signing up. You should always segment your list based on user behavior. So if you have a group of people who purchase product A, customize your email for product A, but you can mention product B and C in there, but know who your audience is so you can talk to your audience. Okay? And you can always ask your subscribers to update their preferences as well, because you want to make sure you're sending out emails to the right person, right address. Okay, so this is a short checklist. Now we can expand upon this, but these are some of the most of the key items when it comes to email marketing. Some other items on the checklist include features such as countdown timers and live polls. Okay, make it interactive. Okay, choose the right email frequency. Don't be sending emails 3 or 4 times a week. Once a week is probably as much as you want to go, depending on what it is. If somebody purchases something, then you probably want to send an email thanking them for the purchase, another one letting you know the product has been shipped, and another one with thank you, the product has been received. Reward those subscribers. Send out exclusive offers. Okay, make sure your emails are optimized for mobile. That means send out test emails and check it on different devices. Okay, create a schedule. Okay, you can automate these emails, so create a schedule that makes the most sense. Have a footer and a header in the email, and in that footer and header is going to be some information. Okay, just like I showed you with the microexpressions, there was a footer and header. Avoid spam filters. Okay, how do you avoid spam filters? Well, apply best practices. Okay, don't have spammy subject lines. Have an actual name associated with the reply to email. And split up your list as well. When you send out one email to 150,000 people, it could probably get caught up in some spam. So segment out your audiences. Keep your audience list short so that your messaging can be specific to the audience. That's going to help avoid spam. And then, of course, you always want to measure and analyze results. So remember, a lot of these email marketing platforms have the results built in, especially open rates and click rates. We're going to talk about MailChimp. So we're going to go through the features and benefits of using MailChimp as your email content platform. So buckle up and let's get started with MailChimp. So the first thing you need to do is sign up for an account with MailChimp. And that's simply just providing an email address, an ID, and a password. And I recommend when you actually sign up for an account, you sign up with the free plan first. And let's take a look at what the plan features are for MailChimp. So I'm recommending the free plan, but when you actually sign up, you have the option to actually pay for a plan. So you have the essential, the standard, the premium, or the free. And so I recommend you go with the free version first. It's like buying a car. You want to test drive it out, see if you like it, see if you like the features and benefits. And you can see here that with the free plan, you get a lot of features and benefits. So you get all the basics for businesses that are just getting started. So if you're just getting started with email marketing, I would recommend the free plan here because you have a 2,000 contact maximum. So that means you can send out an email to your 2,000 recipients free of charge. So not a bad deal for businesses who are starting out. I mean, if you are prepared, you've used MailChimp before, then go ahead and sign up for one of the paid versions. Each version has a different set of standards, a different set of features and benefits. From the essential all the way up to the premium, where you're going to get advanced features and more customization. But that's $299 a month. So if you're not prepared to pay that amount, then my recommendation, start with that free plan. Now, when you actually do set up your account, you're just gonna, again, provide a ID, email address, and password. You're going to go through a couple of steps. And one of these steps that I would recommend you do right away is connect to your Facebook and Twitter accounts. So if you already have a Facebook and Twitter account, very simple. All you're doing is authorizing MailChimp to connect to the account. And the reason for that is when you actually connect your Twitter, Facebook account, you'll be able to then, share content on those platforms, and MailChimp will do that for you automatically. Okay, so here you're just asking it to more or less interact with the platform, social platform. And I recommend doing that as you're going through the setup process. Very simple to do. If you're already logged into your Twitter or Facebook account, all you need to do is click on the plus button as you go through the setup wizard and authorize MailChimp to access your Twitter or Facebook account. Here you can see what MailChimp's going to be able to do. They're going to be able to read tweets from your timeline, post tweets for you on your behalf if you want them to. You're going to allow MailChimp to see, create, and manage your advertising data, including the campaigns and audiences. And the reason for this is you may want to integrate your email marketing efforts with your social media efforts. And the great thing about MailChimp is, hey, look, if you want to post content on these platforms, you'll be able to. If you want to leverage other benefits from Facebook and Twitter and integrate them with MailChimp, you'll be able to. So having these two platforms, in the case of Facebook and Twitter, talk to MailChimp is a positive, because then you'll be able to do a little bit more, get your message out there a little bit more. So I highly recommend you take this as a necessary step when you're going through the setup. Now, it's optional, you don't have to, but I recommend it. Now, when you're actually setting up your account, you're going to be asked to, design a template. Okay, so you could pick a template. Just by default, you could pick one just to get the account going, but you can always go back and add or change out the template. So here you can see I'm in the setup wizard, but I arbitrarily just chose a template. I can go back and choose some of the templates that are available to me. Now, again, you can create your own template if you want to. Okay, so you just click Create Template, and you'll be, asked to choose kind of a, template that you can pretty much change and customize. So if you're thinking about sending out an email with an announcement, then that's the type of template you want to choose. And so here, now you can see we have a logo. We can change the announcement here. We can add photos, etc. So if I want to add my logo, I'm just going to go up to this top portion here, click that little pencil icon that'll allow me to edit. Here you can see it's the default logo. I don't really have a logo, so I can say replace it. I can also link to it. And here you can see in the Content Studio of MailChimp, I don't have any images to choose from, so I'm going to go ahead and upload one. And I'm going to go ahead and upload my logo that I've had on my desktop. Okay, so it's going to upload, and now I can select that and insert it. So now I have my logo as part of my template here. And you can also see you can add some styling here to this header part, so I can add a nice border around that. Okay, so I can align it center. I can go edge to edge. Okay, so I can customize the image in this particular template here. So I'm just going to click Save and Close. Now I'm ready to move on to the next part, which is just click on Edit. I want to make an announcement. Okay, share your big news. Okay, we are having a launch party. Okay, so here you can see, again, just in this template, these quote-unquote announcement template, I'm able to just make changes to each section. Now I'm in the section of the announcement part where I can now customize the text. And you can see I can bold it, I can choose a different font, go Arial, I can choose the size, you can make it smaller, larger, pretty easy to use. I could again style it with a different color. And so I can make multiple columns here if I want to. So there's a lot you can do just in this one section as well. So let's go ahead and just do one more thing here. Let's maybe color it or something. I mean, you can see I can add a link. Let's go ahead and make it blue. That's the background. So I want to change the background. So I'm just going to click Control Z. I'll change the color of the font itself. There you go. Very simple and easy to use. Now I can add photos here if I want to. So let's go ahead and edit this bottom part here. So I'm going to click again the edit icon. Okay, so here you can see I have 3 images in the template. I'm going to go ahead and add to that. So here I can go ahead and upload some files. So I have some files waiting for me on my desktop. I'm just going to go ahead and add them and upload them to the Content Studio. And now that I've uploaded them, I can select one of them to insert. Okay, now I'm going to go here, insert the second one, and now I'm going to grab the third one and insert that in its place. Here you can see now I can go ahead and, style each one of these if I want to. Okay, I can add a border again. Okay, I can go ahead and do rounded corners. Okay, settings. You can see how I can set it up this so they're all vertical. I can do this. So I have a lot of flexibility in what I add to these particular, templates. Okay, this is again just the announcement template. And so now I'm going to click Save and Close. And here you can see I can add some other things to it if I wanted to. I can play around with the design and header. And once I'm done, really, if I'm happy with my email, I can just close it out and I'm done. So what I could do now is when you're done with this template, you can just preview and test it. So I could send a test email or enter preview mode. So if I enter preview mode, this is what the template I've chose is going to look like if I happen to send it out. Okay, so this is what it looks like on desktop. This is what it looks like on mobile. And if I go inbox preview, I'll need to upgrade my account because I'm on the free version. So, but I can certainly see what it looks like on mobile and desktop. So I'm just going to click out of that. And this is a template. And so I can go back and edit this anytime I want. So when I'm done, I'm just going to go ahead and click the MailChimp icon in the upper left. It's going to ask me to name my template. So I'm going to name this the announcement template. I'm going to click save. And now it's in my templates. So I'm free to use this template anytime I'm ready to send an email. Okay, and again, you saw how easy it was to make a change in the template itself. So when I'm ready to use the template, I can just go ahead and grab it. Okay, and again, I can go ahead and style it and design it any way I want. So you have different sections of the page that you can style. And here you got, mobile style designs if you wanted to. Now, if you wanted to in the template, if I want to duplicate the whole block, I can duplicate that whole block and you can see it just copied it, or I can just get rid of it. It's a very easily to use WYSIWYG, if you will, or interface. It allows, MailChimp allows for some easy, functionality, easy features to go ahead and manipulate and change to your liking. Okay, so again, I'm working with a template here. So anytime I'm ready to use that template for an email, I can go in and start using it. Okay, and if I go to templates, again, I'm going to find my template here. I can always edit it. I can always share it. I can always preview it. I can replicate it. And that's the important thing. So if I replicate it, I'm basically creating a copy of it. Okay, so I just created a copy. So now if I wanted to create or change the copy of it, I can do that. So if I don't like this whole block, I can just delete it. And now that I'm done, I can rename this. I'm just going to say announcement template v2. So now it's been renamed. And now I have 2 templates just simply by choosing one and replicating it. So again, if I go back to templates here I go, I have my 2 templates. And I can store these in a folder. So I'm going to add a folder. I'm going to call it announcements. And I'm going to add the folder. And that's it. So now I can store these in the folder. So you can organize all your templates in different folders if you want to. So I'm going to take these 2 templates here, move them to my announcements folder, and there you go. They're in the announcements folder. So if you're going to create multiple templates, then I would recommend you go ahead and organize it. Create folders, and set up as many folders as you want and need. It's because you're going to probably have different templates for different occasions. Depends on what type of email you're sending out. So I just chose arbitrarily an announcement type email. So now if I go back to create templates, okay, you can see again, let's go through some of these others. Again, I just chose make an announcement. You can tell a story, follow up, educate. You got all sorts of different templates that you could choose. All sorts. And here you got some themes. So you can even go with a theme if you wanted to. So for example, if you're selling products, let's just say you have a boutique store. Let's just choose this boutique template. If I choose this, here is my themed template. And so now, just like the other template I was working in, I can go ahead and edit this. Here you can see at the top, I got the middle section, I got all these different sections that I can now go ahead and edit. So it's just about, really it's about choosing a theme template that works best for you, and feel free to, try these different templates out and see what works best for you. So here you can add in certain thins like, social share. So if I just drag and drop, I can add in a social share image card. So a lot of these themes are very flexible in what you can do in terms of the design, in terms of the content. So again, if you go back, and I'm going to cancel and not save this temp. Well, let's save it. We'll call it boutique. We may use it again in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. And now it's a template. It's going to be located in templates. And again, if you always want to access templates, just go to templates. You'll see the templates that you already have created and edited. So you can edit them always just by clicking the edit button. Now that's, again, if you want to create a new template, just click on the create new template call to action. And again, you got themes, you've got layouts, or you can even create your own from scratch. You can import another template that you created in another email marketing platform, or you could simply just do everything from scratch in HTML. So you have 3 different options here: layouts, themes, and creating a template on your own. Okay, and that's either by importing or by creating it from scratch. Okay, my recommendation, I like some of the layouts that MailChimp has. You can see a lot of flexibility here, and when you actually choose one, again, you're in full control of how to design and message it. So you're in full control of that. So if you just want to, again, tell a story, I'm going to select this template here. Okay, now I'm on the free version, so keep in mind with the free version, I don't have access to all the templates. So here I got to upgrade to use this one. But for example, if I don't see the message upgrade to use, then I'm free to grab it. So you can see the one column I'm free to use. So I'm just going to select that. And now I have this template available to me. So again, I'm free to edit this one as I see fit. I mean, I can go ahead and again, drop in any one of these elements that are available to me here. I'm going to drop in my social block. Okay, so here you can see I can now customize my social block. If I want to add in another platform, I can do that, social media platform. Click save and close. So you can see they're very customizable. All of these themes and layouts are very customizable. And again, when you're done, it's just a matter of you can preview it or test it. You can enter preview mode, or you can send yourself a test email. Okay, so if you send yourself a test email, you can actually see how it looks when it comes in. So let's go ahead and do that here. So I'm just going to send myself a test email, and the email's been sent. So let's go check our inbox. So here is the email that I just created from the theme. You can see here, all I did simply when I edited, I just dropped in my social block in here. So this is what the email looks like. And the great thing about MailChimp is they have an option that you can view the email in a browser if you can't or don't want to look at it in this case, I'm looking at Gmail. So you can always, or recipients can always view the email in a browser versus the email client that they're using in specific. Now, when it comes to completing your profile on MailChimp, you're going to need an audience to send these emails to. And so when you click on audience here, if you don't have an audience already imported into MailChimp, you're going to be asked to import. So you can see I already have one contact. That contact's me because I added my email address on that test email. So MailChimp's smart enough to say, okay, we don't have this email address in our contact list, so we're going to add them. So here we can see we can manage our audience. So we can add subscribers, we can import contacts, we can have sign-up forms, and we can manage our contacts. So if we import our contacts, if I click on import, here I'm going to be asked to import either from a CSV or copy and paste. Or I can just go ahead and integrate it. So if I choose, for example, any one of these, then it's going to pull in the contacts I have there. And so it's up to you how you import your contacts. Now, the whole point of contacts is you want to probably, or really not probably, it's a best practice to actually create different lists so that you can use different audience lists with different emails. And so here you can see I have one email address. I can again import contacts, or I can add them individually. So I can add subscribers here. Okay, that's another option. That's the slower option. My recommendation be import them. But when you import, make sure you're importing lists that have some commonality so you can manage those lists. So if you have one list that are, say, clients who have never purchased, then you want to create a list for them. If you have clients who have purchased, separate those out. Okay, so that's the way I would go about it. Now, if you're trying to build a list, MailChimp has what they call sign-up forms. So you have different forms that you can embed or have as a pop-up. And when people add their email address to that form, then it's automatically going to get added to your MailChimp account. So that's a great feature in MailChimp that allows you to, build out your audience just by using one of their forms. So again, we have a subscriber pop-up. You've probably seen some of these on some of the websites you've gone to. So you can customize it. And if you want somebody to subscribe to your newsletter, for example, all they need to do is enter in their email address and click subscribe. Okay, that's the pop-up version. Now, again, you have the opportunity to, use other forms as well. So you got a form builder here or an embedded form, okay, or you can integrate the form. Okay, so if I click form integrations, here I can use Wufoo or Squarespace. I can integrate with them. If I go back to sign up forms, if I choose form builder, here I have a sign up form, and then I can customize that form with different boxes, okay, or fields. Okay, so whatever field I want somebody to add information to, I can have that in there, and then this form could be, on your website. So that's the great feature about MailChimp is it helps you build an audience. So I can add this form to my website, and anybody who fills out that form is going to be added to my subscriber list that I can use for future emails. To take that a step further, I can even go from building a form to building a landing page. So here you can see if I click on audience, I can go ahead at the bottom right here, I have an option to create a landing page. So if I click on that, just like everything else in MailChimp, it's fairly easy to use. I'm just going to name it, test, click begin. Here I can choose my audience. Again, what audience do I want to add these emails to? I click begin and I'm going to accept. And here now I have all these different templates that I can use as a landing page. So if you want to use these landing pages to collect emails and those emails are going to be added to your audience, then you have a nice selection here at your disposal. Okay, so here I'm just going to choose one, grow my list. Okay, this is a landing page. So I can customize it just like I do with my email template. I can add my logo. Okay, I can start adding different fields here like an image. I can drop an image here. Okay, I can go ahead and, drop in my social shares. Okay, I can drop in a box, a text box. Okay, and then I can start customizing it with some text, some imagery, some other information. Again, this is a landing page that I can then add to my website. And so anytime somebody goes to the landing page and fills out their email address and hits subscribe, it's going to be added to that audience list. And then I can turn around and send an email using one of MailChimp's templates to that audience. So MailChimp really does a great job of allowing you to grow your list within your own website via a landing page, a form submission or forum, or pop-up. So there are lots of different options available to us. So I'm going to click Save and Close here, and now this landing page is available to me. So I can customize the URL, I can edit the audience that these emails go to, I can add a page title, and again, I can edit the design. So I can really make this an integrated part of my website by designing it so it fits the feel and look of my website. I can add a specific URL, and I can add a nice page title to it. So MailChimp again does a great job of just making it so easy for you to build out a landing page for you to use on your website to collect email addresses. So if you're doing a pay-per-click campaign on Facebook or Google, you can actually drive traffic to these landing pages and get people to fill out a form submission. And when they fill out the form submission, that email address is going to get added to your audience. That's an option. Or you can just add it as part of your website, and people who go there from, say, organic search can find that page and add their email address organically. So that's a great thing about the audience feature in MailChimp, in that not only can you select an email template, but you have options to grow your audience. Okay, again, importing contacts. You can simply just add contacts. You can add, a form submission via pop-up or regular form fields to your website, or you can add a landing page. So it's important to note that in MailChimp, if you go to the Content Studio, that's where you're going to find all the files that you have added to all your templates or landing pages that you used before. So if I click on Content Studio here you can see the files I've added to my templates. If you have products, you can add your products here. Okay, so if you have an e-commerce store, you can certainly add your products, and then those products can be used on your landing page or your email templates. You have something called a Giphy. You can insert these into any of your emails, make it fun, exciting, engaging. Here you have Instagram. So what you can do is you can integrate, any one of your Instagram accounts. If you have multiple accounts, or if you have one Instagram account, you can integrate that one Instagram account in with your MailChimp account. And when you do that, it's going to pull in all the images that you've had on Instagram. And then you have an opportunity here just to add a logo. Okay, so you can use any of your Instagram images within your emails. Use one of these cool Giphies. Again, you can import your products that you can use for your email templates, or just keep tabs on all the files that you've added before just by clicking on My Files. Now, when you get to the point of building different audience lists and sending out emails, you're going to have the option to look at reporting to see how those emails perform for those specific audiences. Now, again, an audience is a set, it's like a segment. These are a set of individuals who are going to receive a specific email. So in this example, you can see I have different audiences. And if we look at, say, any one of these audiences, or even just go to all audiences, we'll be able to see how we fared on some of our emails. Okay, so for example, if I send out an email here in April, and this is April of 2019, I can see how many total subscribers I've had. Now, along with the number of subscribers you have what we call open rate and click-through rate. Now, we explain a lot of the reporting and the specific email metrics in another recording that we did last week. So if you're interested in learning more about some of the metrics, then check out the video that we have on YouTube, Email Marketing Tutorial. We recorded this last week. Go into details about all the different metrics you can learn about with email marketing. So take a look at this video, Email Marketing Tutorial. It'll be a nice precursor to the MailChimp tutorial. So to give you some insights as to what metrics to really pay attention to with email marketing. But in MailChimp, we know we can look at the total number of subscribers. We know that we have how many opens, and we know what the open rate is, and again, the total number of clicks and what the click-through rate is. Okay, so with MailChimp, very easily, you just hover over it, you get the raw number, and then the percentage. So open rate is how many people actually open that email based on the total number of people that the email was sent to. So here we could see in this particular email last year in April, we've had 14%, 14.1% to be exact, and that is 13,377 divided by 97,469. So that's how many people open the email. So 13,000 out of 97 is about 14%. Now, when somebody opens it, we hope they're going to click on it. And so here we got a 1.4% click-through rate. Again, that's the total number of clicks based on the total number of subscribers or people that were sent the email. And so MailChimp just gives you a nice overview of how many subscribers were in this particular audience list, and then the open rate and click rate. So we can really dive in here and we can actually see how that particular email performs. So if we just pick one email here, we can just click View Report. We have other options here. We can print, we can download, we can share it, the whole campaign, or just view the email. If we want to view what the email looked like, we can select that. But we just want to view the report. So we're going to click View Report. And now we can get into some nice detailed information about the actual report itself. So again, here you can see total number of recipients. And this came from the audience list called Newsletter. Okay, it was delivered last year, September 26, 2018. Again, I have the option to view it, download it, print it, or share it. So let's take a look and view the email to see what it looked like. Okay, so this is what the email looked like. We have our own template here. And here you can see it takes into account some of the best practices involved with email marketing. We have some nice content, imagery, some call to action here, some other links. Okay, we have our social icons. Okay, so that's what the email looked like. Okay, so we'll go back and we're going to click view report. Now we want to view the report. Again, here's what it looked, here's when it was sent. Okay, the open rate for this was 21%. Click-through rate was 4%. So for us, the list average, this list here, newsletter, the average was for the open rate 16.8%. So we're above the average on this email. For the click-through rate, the list average is 2.7. So we're above the average. So we've done a good job on this email, at least generating more opens, more clicks. And MailChimp even takes that a step further. They'll even show you what the industry average is for your particular industry. And in this case, for education and training. So we did better than the industry average for both the open rate and for the click-through rate. So we could see some other specifics. We could see the raw numbers of opens, clicks, how many people bounced, meaning the email address wasn't valid anymore. And so MailChimp does a good job of any email that actually bounces, it'll be scrubbed and removed from your list. And then here you can see 347 unsubscribed. So the thing about, MailChimp is we want to be careful we don't have too many unsubscribes and also people abusing or reporting abuse. Meaning you don't want to send out an email multiple times a week where it gets to the point where it's spammy. And so you want to avoid a high number of unsubscribes and a high number of abuse reports. And so here you can see most emails are open within a 24-hour period, and then it kind of just tails off. So here we can see opens and clicks based on the time of day. So within a 24-hour period. Okay, so this is how most emails operate. Within that first 24 hours, you're going to get a lot of opens, a lot of clicks. And then it's going to tail off from there. Great thing is MailChimp provides me more detailed information about what was clicked. So I could see here the top links that were clicked. And let me just point one thing out here. Whether you use MailChimp or you use any other platform, whether that be vertical response or any other type of email marketing platform, you want to use UTM tracking with your links so that Google Analytics can pick up the actual campaign. So here you can see we have UTM tracking appended to our links. And let me just go into detail on that for just a minute. So MailChimp again gives us nice data on open and click-through rates. But when we send out an email and people actually do click on one of these links, they're going to go to our website. And from there, Google Analytics is going to take over on the tracking. So this is as far as MailChimp goes. So we want to be able to bridge the gap between MailChimp reporting and Google Analytics, meaning when they came from the email went to the site, did they convert? Meaning, did they download something? Did they purchase something? And so we want to be able to bridge the gap, and UTM tracking, which is simply appending the original URL with some tracking parameters named UTM, it allows us to bridge that gap. So all you need to do when you set up a MailChimp campaign is just go to URL Builder in Google. Then you're going to click on Campaign URL Builder. And we're going to go ahead and set up an email campaign. So for example, if we go back here, this was the original URL. So if I just copy this original URL here and paste that as part of my website URL. What's my campaign source? I'm going to put MailChimp. What's my medium? I'm going to put email. So MailChimp is the source of where the traffic came from. The medium, the means in which they arrived at our website, was via email. And then the campaign name, we're just going to put maybe whatever it is, summer promo. So with the URL builder, you have 5 parameters for UTM tracking. You don't have to use all 5. Okay, so here we need to put in the URL and we need to put in the source. But the other 4 parameters, medium, name, term, and content, are optional. So you don't have to put anything there, but the more parameters you put in, the more specific it is for you to track the behavior of that email campaign. So here I can see MailChimp, email, summer promo, and then for the content, I can use that to differentiate my subject line. So when you send out an email, we mentioned this in the email marketing tutorial, you always want to send out multiple subject lines, meaning one list gets one subject line, another list gets a second subject line, because you want to be able to measure open rates based on subject lines. So I can use the campaign content parameter for different subject lines. And notice the URL builder, once I enter in my parameters, it's going to append the original URL with a new URL appended with UTM tracking. So if I copy that, I can simply just paste that in my browser just to see if it works. And here you can see it works. The page loaded the original URL with UTM tracking. And so that's exactly what you want to do, because when you're looking at your reports in MailChimp, it's going to show me the top links that were clicked. Now, if I go into analytics, I want to be able to see how that campaign or how that link actually performed. So let's take a look at that real quick. So if I go to my Google Analytics account and I go to acquisition, campaigns, all campaigns, what am I looking for? Well, if I click on source and medium are two of the parameters for UTM tracking. I'm going to look for MailChimp. So here I can see my original URL, MailChimp, and then the date stamp, and then the medium's email. So if I go back here, I can see, for example, any one of these MailChimp emails that went out, and then I can see how many people actually came from the email, what the bounce rate was, meaning if they arrived on the site, did they leave after arriving or did they actually go to another page? And then I could see other engagement data like how many pages they looked at, how much time did they spend? More importantly, did they convert? So that's the whole idea behind using UTM tracking. Because with UTM tracking, you can bridge the gap from open rate, click-through rate, to behavior on the website, all the way through to the conversion. And that's what we want to measure. We want to measure, did somebody go from the email, open it, click on one of the links, go to the website, engage on the website, and convert. And so that's the whole idea behind UTM tracking, because MailChimp and any other email marketing platform is only going to give you at most your open rates and your click-through rates. Okay, so here we could see the top links clicked. I see 4,000 recipients clicked on this email. They went to the site, and now I need analytics to kind of tell me the rest. And here I can see what subscribers had the most opens. And if I integrated social, I can see some social performance. And so that goes back to our original setup. So if you integrate your Twitter account or your Facebook account, you'll be able to integrate that email in with your Twitter. And then from there, I'll be able to see, tweets or how many likes, for example. And to top it all off, I can see how many people from around the world clicked on the email. So that's reporting in a nutshell on MailChimp. Reports are fairly easy to look at, all sorts of other information like links, specifically links. You can look at social. So if I click on the social tab here, if I integrated my social, I can look at social reporting. Likewise for e-commerce. And notice the Analytics 360, I can integrate Google Analytics in with MailChimp if I want to. So I have all sorts of options on my reporting. So that's it for MailChimp. I mean, it's fairly easy to navigate. You have all the campaigns that you've sent out. So if you just click on campaigns, I'll be able to see all the campaigns I've set up and all the campaigns that have been sent. And obviously the ones that have been sent, I can start looking at reports. I can pick and choose templates. Okay, I can pick and choose my audience and manage my audience. Okay, I can see what the growth is from my audience. Again, I have different options to grow my audience. Okay, I can certainly add form submissions, landing pages, sign up forms. I can import more contacts, and I can manage them through different lists. Content Studio is where all your files are going to be located, okay, from the files you've uploaded to e-commerce products to Giphies to Instagram to my logo. And then you have reports. And the reports are there for you to measure the performance of your email campaigns once they've been sent. So you can look at them from reports or just from the main campaigns view. That's pretty much it. So if you're ready to go at it again, click that create button, click that template, choose that audience. You can go ahead and send yourself that test email when you're ready. Go ahead and send that email off to your audience. It's that simple in MailChimp. We're going to cover email marketing, interview questions, and answers. So thanks for joining again, and here's how it's going to work. So if you have any questions to these questions or answers, feel free to just comment right below this video and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. We're going to go through a series of questions and I'm going to answer those questions for you. So email marketing, traditional digital marketing channel. It's been around a while, and you're going to be asked some questions that are going to encompass a lot of things related to the delivery of emails. We all check emails on a daily basis. We all receive them. Sometimes we receive emails unsolicited. Sometimes we sign up to receive emails. Sometimes we receive emails from friends. Sometimes we receive emails where we're working or previously have worked. So most people have an understanding of email. However, as a marketer, there's a little bit of a different twist to it. So we have to understand the intricacies of how email marketing works. So you're going to be asked some questions, and really the first question here is, what's the difference between a hard and a soft bounce email? So if you're a digital marketer, you're in charge of sending out lots of emails, let's just say thousands, or it could be in the hundreds of thousands of emails, you're going to get some bounces. And so you really want to know the difference between a hard and a soft bounce. So a soft bounce just means that the email message reached the recipient's mail server but bounced back as undelivered. So think of it as delivering actual mail to a post office. So it actually reached the post office, but it bounced back because maybe the person's email box was full, maybe their account was temporarily disabled, or maybe the email server wasn't necessarily able to handle that email. Now, a hard bounce is an email that is rejected because it's an email when it happens when the email has been permanently rejected. So, for example, maybe the account is no longer valid. And so let's look at some reasons again as to why a soft bounce would happen. So, for example, the inbox is full or the recipient server's down. So it reached the post office, but there was a problem actually getting it into the hands of the owner, so to speak. Where the hard bounce, a little bit different. Let's just say that person is no longer working, their email's been deleted, or the email has been blacklisted somehow, okay, as spam or something to that effect. So the email server is going to identify that, and it's not even going to reach the recipient. So a lot of different ways in which an email may not make its recipient. So not the most important thing to know here. The important thing to know is, listen, when you send out an email, you got to pay attention to how many get bounced back. And so next question here, what would you do to improve the click-through rate of your email? So click-through rate is simply how many people have seen your email and how many people actually clicked on a link in the email. So if 100 people saw your email but only one person clicked, then it would be a 1% click-through rate. So we want to be able to make sure we have a high click-through rate. So remember, emails are going to people who likely signed up to receive your email. And even if they are expecting the email or they're not expecting the email, you still want to follow some of these best practices here. One is to create a compelling subject line. So you want to make the subject line something that people are going to notice, take note of, or take an interest in, and say, hey, what's this all about? That's pretty interesting, and open the email. So use preview text effectively. Obviously, you want to make your email mobile friendly because most people look at their emails on their mobile phones. You want to create engaging content. Okay, so the content that's in the email obviously is going to have some links. So put some strong call to action in there, and that's one of the bullet points down below. Place a CTA where it's easily visible. So keep in mind mobile users. Most people are going to check that email on their phone, so you want to make sure you have compelling content with good CTAs in a visible location. So always check mobile as well as desktop. Obviously, in your emails, you want to make them as visual as possible. Don't make them so text heavy. You can always segment your emails, meaning if you're sending out an email, let's just say to 100 people, okay, maybe you want to divide it up, boys or girls, maybe old or young, maybe, living in one part of the country versus another part of the country. I mean, those are examples of segments. So break up the email. Don't send it to one mass email to everyone. That way you can personalize the email. If an email is personalized, the chances of somebody clicking on it are going to be greater. And then A/B test your emails. And when we say A/B test, you could send out the same email twice, except one segment's going to say get one version of the email, the other segment is going to get another version of the email. And what are the different versions? Maybe the subject line. So the subject line is different on version A versus version B. Or maybe the call to action is different. So you always want to send out different versions of the the same email to a different segmented audience. That way you can actually see which segment or which version got the most clicks. Okay, so next question here is how to inform your customers about company news and establish a relationship with your target audience. Okay, so again, how do you inform your customers about what's going on in the company? And how are you going to establish a relationship with that audience who's receiving that email? Well, newsletters are always the best answer here. So somebody signs up for your email, let's just say they actually purchase a product from you. Newsletters are a great way to reach out to that audience to get them to stay up to date with the latest product or an improved version of the product they purchased. And then that way they can come back and continue to purchase the product. So newsletters are a great way to reach out to your audience and actually talk to your audience. You're not talking to them verbally, you're talking to them via email. So you send out that email campaign, maybe it's once a month. Hey, we noticed you bought this product. We have similar products, just like the one you bought. Or, hey, if it's a software, maybe, hey, we've got upcoming updates to our software. Make sure you go to the website and get the updates. Or we have a new and improved version. So all these things you want to communicate to your audience via email. That's going to get them to get to the website, and that's going to get them to, purchase more, update, upgrade, whatever. So newsletters, the way to go. So again, some basic tips here. You want to create your newsletter with 90% educational and 10% promotional. So remember, you're sending out a newsletter to people who likely signed up. So you're educating them about your products. Always create interesting subject lines. You want, whether they know you or not, you want to create the subject line so somebody's going to click on it. So make sure you design your emails appropriately, okay? So if you know you're sending, let's just say baby products to mothers or expected mothers. In fact, this is a real life example because I used to work at Gap, and Baby Gap was, one of the emails groups I was responsible for. So we created an email template with softer colors. Your yellows, your light blues. It wasn't black or dark red or anything that's going to be, heavy. We knew who our audience was and we designed the template accordingly. And of course, using compelling images. So if we're selling baby products, you're going to put baby product images in there. I mean, it's common sense, but you'd be surprised. You got to pick and choose your images carefully, especially if you're sending to an international audience, because images can be misconstrued. And just like we mentioned with the click-through rate, you always want to have a clear CTA. Always make sure you have a CTA in a visible position, because most people are going to look at that email in a mobile phone. Okay, and then always make sure you include your contact information in the newsletter. So somebody knows where to find you, how to contact you, where to go. Maybe they have a product they want to return. Okay, so you always want to put that contact information. Normally it's at the bottom of the email, but these are all best practices. So here's some examples. Okay, we got, check out the latest cosmetics from our new collections. Notice the image and notice the call to action. So you can see trendy collections. We got some other products you may want to buy. Okay, 5 important skincare products that everyone should have. View more. So you always want to have that call to action in a very visible place. So define following metrics: open rate, click-through rate, and response rate, and forward rate. So these are metrics related to email marketing. So you're going to have to know what these are. So we already mentioned click-through rate before when we talked about best practices for improving the click-through rate. So for those of you that remember what that is, go ahead and put that in the comment section below. It's just a little pop quiz for you if anybody remembers click-through rate. But let's take a look at open rate. So open rate is the percentage of the total number of recipients who actually open the email. So if you send it to X amount of people, how many people opened it? That would be the open rate. So how many people open it, but you're gonna take out the people who bounced it. Whether it's a soft bounce or hard bounce, okay, you're not gonna count those people. So if you had, let's just say 20 people open the email and you sent it to 100 people, and you had nobody bounce, then it would be a 20% open rate. Okay, click-through rate, again, pop quiz. It's just how many people actually clicked on any of the links in your email, and that's just divided by the number of emails you've sent out. Okay, response rate. Okay, so response rate is the percentage of the total recipients who clicked on the link of your email campaign and actually completed an action. So what is that action? Well, it could be downloading something, watching something, purchasing something. So that's the response rate, similar to conversion rate. If you're working in a digital marketing channel and you're driving traffic to the site, you want that traffic to do something. Well, it's no different in email marketing. We want people to take action. We're just going to divide that by the number of emails delivered, and that gives you your response rate. So let's just say you did send in 100 emails. You did get 20% open it, and of those 20, let's just say one person went on to purchase. Well, you'd have a 1% response rate. And then a forward rate, simply the forward rate refers to the rate at which your subscribers share your email with others, friends, family, etc. And you may have that as a call to action in your email. In fact, that's a best practice. So it's just the number of clicks on a share divided by the total number of delivered emails. And you're going to multiply that by 100 to get the percentage. And so most email marketing platforms do measure forward rate. Okay, let's take a look at how to recapture inactive customers. What you want to do here is re-engage subscribers with gamification. Opt for subject lines like, "We have been missing you," or "Did we do something wrong?" You want to run a poll or a competition to re-engage with your subscribers. Again, trying to get people involved. These first three are all about getting people involved. So personalize your emails. Talk to that person as if, "Hey, look, I haven't heard from you in a while. How about coming back and taking a look at our new products?" Just as you would a friend. So design always matters, especially knowing that you're talking to customers who haven't been active. Okay, this is a segmented audience, somebody who's inactive. So you want to have the right design, the right message, the right subject line that fits with that customer's inactivity. So you want to try and do everything you can to get that customer back. And then you want to follow a consistent schedule. Okay, so ideally, when you schedule an email, you want to schedule the best time. So you have to know your audience, obviously. And then you can always ask for feedback. Why are they inactive? Why haven't they purchased in a while? So the whole idea here, from gamification, like trying to, make a game out of it, so make it competitive, to adding polls, to really personalizing it, these are all things that you can do to get your customers back. So what are the different ways to segment buyer personas? So again, when we talk about segmentation, we're talking about taking a smaller piece of the entire pie. So what's one way to break up that pie, if you will? By geography. Okay, so with geography, you could target your audience based on that area. And it could not necessarily have to be by a part of the country. It could be all the way down to the province, the state, the actual city, the county. Okay, if you live in a small village, okay, all the way up to the continent. Okay, so think about how you would break out the segment by geography. Now, obviously, if you break it out, let's just say the United States to the southern part, well, the southern part, in the winter in the United States, the southern part is not going to be as cold as, say, the northern part. So that should tell you, hey, if we're going to send out an email in the winter, we're not going to use snow and blizzards as our theme. We're going to use probably a little bit of sun. So breaking it out by geography helps you understand where your audience lives. You also have demographic segmentation, and this is simply just age, education, income, gender, where people work, okay, nationality, anything that's going to identify that user. So this is the best way to segment. If you know who your audience is by income or gender, you're talking to a group of like-minded people. If they're all the same age, from the same generation, then you could talk to them appropriately. Okay? You're not going to talk to an older person the same way you would a younger person. So think about demographic segmentation, because it really helps you hone in on your messaging. Then you have behavioral segmentation. So behavioral is based on your audience's behavior. Have they purchased before? Have they never purchased? Were they searching for something? How long did they stay on the site? What products were they looking at? Are they a lifetime customer? So you can look at behavior and decide how you want to break out your emails by behavior. And this is a really good way. If you're not even sure who your audience is or where they live and how old they are, you could certainly break out your audience by behavior, because you know who these people are based on what they've done previously, because you're going to track that information with analytics. So, one way is obviously if somebody's purchased. That's a good way to segment, because these people believe in you, believe in your business, believe in your product. So the way you can message to somebody who's purchased before is going to be different than somebody you don't even know who they are, if they purchased or not. Okay, so behavioral segmentation to me is one of the easiest things, the easiest ways to segment your email list. How would you drive repeat customers through email marketing for the below scenario? Okay, so this is a pop quiz, if you will. Again, for those of you that got click-through rate correctly, kudos. Let's see if you can go 2 for 2 here. Okay, so if you know the answer to this, go ahead and comment below. But let's just say give a few examples of subject lines to drive engagement for audiences based on the following. So if I had an audience between 20 and 30 years old that were female, and the product were sandals. Okay, what would some of your subject lines be? So I'm going to give you a minute to think about that and put it in the comment section below. Now remember, this is an interview-based question, so you're going to have to think on the spot. I'm going to give you a minute, but if somebody presented that to you in an interview, you need to be able to, react fairly quickly and come up with some really attractive subject lines here. Okay, so here you go. Here's another one. So give a few examples of subject lines to drive engagement for 20 to 30 females for footwear. So you got Friday sale coming up. Buy branded sandals at the lowest price. Okay, so I like this one because it's got a strong call to action. Buy. Here you go. This is even better because 50% off on branded sandals and free shipping. I mean, who can't beat free anything, including shipping? And if it's 50% off, I mean, these are key things. So you're putting the promotion and percentage off all in the subject line. So that's really going to grab somebody's attention. Weekend sale for women starts now. Okay, with a little emoji. That never hurts. So those are all good subject lines. They all tend to work because they all have an element of a best practice in there. So here you got, the Friday sale coming up is just giving people notice. Okay, the stronger call to action on the buy, you're putting the promotion in the subject line, and you're using an emoji to really just drive home the point. So all these subject lines will work. And hey, at the end of the day, remember, you want to test your subject lines. Okay, moving on to the next question. Speaking of testing, what is A/B testing, and give some examples of A/B testing? Okay, so we talked a little bit about A/B testing with subject lines. So simply, A/B testing when it comes to email marketing is just a method to analyze which of the two email campaign strategies is most effective. Okay, now you're going to do it based on open rate, you can do it based on click rate, you can do it based on response rate. Okay, remember, you're putting one version of the email against another version, whether that be the subject line, whether it be the content, call to action, whatever. So that's ideally what you're trying to do. You're trying to figure out what works for your audience. That's the end goal for A/B testing and email marketing. What's going to work? And I would highly suggest you should always do A/B testing for subject lines. Always. So some of the variables that you can test, again, subject lines. Okay, you always want to try, if you got a promotion, hey, will the percentage off work? Likely it will, but let's test it up against something else, like, a generic word like discounts. You can always test the design. You can always test the personalization, the preview text. You could try out images, call to actions, exclusive offers. What particular offer is going to work? Okay, so if you're testing offers, then obviously that's going to be response rate. If you're testing CTAs, then that's going to be click-through rate. If you're testing subject lines, that's going to be open rate. So you want to be able to test different elements of the email to figure out what works and what doesn't work. Okay, so how to prevent email from getting into spam. So if you're an email marketer, this is your worst nightmare. You don't want your emails to get spammed. So that doesn't bode well for you. So most email marketing platforms like MailChimp or Constant Contact measure spam. So some of the important ways to prevent this is, hey, improve your open rate. Remember, going back to the second question, you want to have really good subject lines here. Okay, and you want to segment your audience. So if you know who you're talking to and you have a cool subject line that's going to get somebody to react and open, then that's going to prevent somebody from spamming your email. Okay, you can always customize your from to make it look like it's coming from, in this case, Rob Sanders. Check if you have included an unsubscribe link. Okay, so give people the option to unsubscribe. If they don't have the option to unsubscribe, they could just report you as spam. Make sure your emails work on different devices. Okay, you want to optimize your images for email. Make sure they're not big and they don't fit on a mobile device. Okay, prefer more text and fewer images. And then avoid grammatical issues. You want to come across as professional. You don't want somebody looking at your email like, who sent this? Why are you sending this to me? I don't want to hear from you again. I'm going to spam you. You want to prevent that. And that means a professional looking email, professional content with a really good subject line and some imagery to go along with that. Hey, you may just get somebody to open that email and get them to convert. That's the idea behind it. So these are ways to prevent somebody from actually spamming you. And then what are the best practices for email subject lines? So the subject line is probably the most important element in email marketing. So when we talked about that little pop quiz with the sandals targeting 20 to 30-year-old women, to me, I like the subject line with the 50% off. So that was a number in the subject line. So people can actually see, hey, wow, I get a whole 50%. That works better than just a discount. Okay, remember, one of those other subject lines had an emoji. So don't be afraid to include emojis in there. For example, when I send out emails using, during the spring, you might want to use flowers, perhaps, to signify, hey, it's spring, winter's over. So personalize the subject lines. Remember, that goes with segmenting. So if you know who your audience is, your subject lines can be a little bit more personal. Okay, so opt for title case subject lines. Okay, so instead of making it grammatical, for example, okay, you want to keep your subject lines short and to the point. Remember, you want to say something that's going to draw somebody's attention. If you make it long and drawn out and boring, then people aren't going to open it. Develop a sense of urgency like, hey, we got 50% off through Friday. So that's a little sense of urgency so people know, hey, if it's Thursday, I better open this email and check it out. And again, grammatical mistakes, that goes without saying. You always want to preview your emails before you send them out. So if you preview your emails before you send them out, have somebody else obviously receive the preview. They can be another set of eyes for you to prevent any mistakes, but also give you feedback on the imagery, the design, etc. Okay, so these are all best practices for good subject lines. Okay, so subject line is the most important element for email marketing. So just keep these in mind. Subject lines and having good subject lines is the way to get people to open it. And from there, that's half the battle. If somebody can open the email, then you've just set yourself up for better performance.
And with that, we have come to the end of this video on email marketing full course. I hope it was informative and interesting. If you have any questions about the topics covered in this video, please ask away in the comment section below. Our team will help you solve your queries. Thanks for watching, stay safe and keep learning.